Are you thinking of selling your home and you want to make sure that you maximize your profit when you do? Well, this episode is for you. Hi, I'm Josh Alexander with The Brokerage and your host of Orange County Housing Market News, your one-stop shop for all things Orange County real estate. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different. So typically I'm giving you market data and stats about the housing market in Orange County, as well as different tips and tricks for both buyers and sellers so you can be successful in today's market. But on today's episode, I'm actually going to give you a peek behind the curtains and go over my 10-step process that I use to help sellers maximize their profit when they decide to sell their home with me. So let's go ahead and get into it. So really quickly, before we go over the 10-step process, I do want to acknowledge that every seller is going to be different. And with every seller being different, this plan is going to change and be customized to each individual seller depending on their wants and needs. So this plan is a great outline to go by. However, it can be changed based on what the seller needs and what's going to make them most comfortable. So let's go ahead and start with number one. So number one is that at-home consultation. That really consists of three different things. So number one, which is what all sellers want to know, what is my home worth? So basically what I do is I'm going to go through and do comparable sale analysis and figure out exactly how much their home should be worth on today's market based on what an appraiser is going to appraise the property at. So I use the same numbers as what appraisers are using. That way you have a really good understanding of what an appraiser is going to go into your house and tell you what it's worth. Now, does that mean that's the price that you should list it at? Absolutely not. But that number is important to know because later when you get into escrow, you'll have a better idea if you're going to have problems with the appraiser or not. So what the actual house is going to be priced at is going to be completely different. It's going to be based on the market. Is it buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? What's your wants and needs? How quickly do you need to have it sold? So a lot of those factor into the actual price you want to price your home at. And a lot of it is just marketing. So where are you going to market it that's going to give you the maximum amount of qualified buyers to be able to get into your house and ultimately get you the best price for your home? So those are definitely two different things, what it appraises at and what you should actually market it at. So that's number one that I go over. Number two, we go over step by step everything that you're going to experience during escrow. And I find this to be extremely important. That way, when a seller gets into escrow, they know exactly what's happening throughout the whole transaction before it even starts, because selling a home can be a very stressful experience. It's one of the largest transactions that most people will ever make. So if they feel lost during the process, it's going to be much more stressful, and there's really no reason to have all that stress. So what I do is I go step by step and explain everything that's going to happen in escrow from when you place your house on the market to you hand over the keys to the new buyer. That way you know what to expect every step of the way, and then that's going to eliminate a lot of stress out of the process for you. So the third major thing that I do when I'm walking through someone's house to figure out how to maximize their profit is we're going to go over what we can do to make sure they are getting the maximum profit from their home. And this could be a wide variety of services. So on the very low end and the very basic end, you at least want to go through your house and do the decluttering, depersonalizing, going through and making sure that any large furniture pieces that are not needed are taken out of the home to make everything look more open. Those are things that you're going to be doing on pretty much every home that you put up for sale. When you go above that, then you get to some of the minor repairs. So things like maybe painting the inside of the house, possibly the outside of the house. If you have a garage door that looks old and a little bit beat up, maybe replacing that. So when a buyer walks up to your property for the first time, they're going to have that great first impression of the home, because it's been proven time and time again, if you don't have a great first impression on that buyer, the odds of you getting offers for that property are dramatically reduced. So some of the basic things like that, and even going through and updating some of the hardware in your house. So the drawer knobs, the doors in the kitchen, going through and updating the faucets to newer faucets that aren't stained with calcium deposits, maybe updating some of the fan fixtures. All these things don't cost that much money, but can have a dramatic effect when buyers walk into your house, making it feel a lot newer, cleaner, and almost HDTV ready. So that's kind of the next step. So then once you get past the basic updates in the house, now you get to a new category of spending a little bit more time and a little bit more money doing some more major updates. Let's say a minor bathroom update, a minor kitchen update, getting all of the flooring in your home replaced. Those type of things could have a really good return on investment for you, but again, you have to have the budget for it and the timeline involved. If you don't have the budget for it, there are options out there where you can have a contractor come in, you pay no money up front, they go through, do all those updates estates for you, and then you just pay them out of the profits at the end of escrow. So those type of auctions do exist and are offered to you when you're going through and trying to sell your home. But again, it's not for everybody. That's why you want to come up with a customized plan based on your wants and needs and your timelines. So the next part of making sure we maximize your profit is figuring out if we need your home staged or not, because it's been shown time and time again that if you have your house professionally staged, it's going to attract more buyers, you're going to get more offers, and those offers are usually going to be higher offers, which again is going to pay for itself in the cost of that staging service. So staging is something that I always recommend, but it might not be right for everybody in every circumstance. So again, we give you the option. However, it's going to be up to the seller to determine what they want to do on the property, how much time they have in order to maximize the profit they get once they decide to place it on the market. So that's step number one. So step number two is after we've gone over everything, we've maximized what we can do to make sure that you're getting the most amount of money for your home when you decide to place it on the market, is now we need to set up the photos and videos. Now, if you've ever looked for a home, you've probably seen the homes before that looks like the photos were taken from a cell phone that was maybe 5 or 10 years old. They're blurry, they don't look great, and they don't really highlight the property. And again, first impressions are everything. And right now, at least 80% of all buyers, the first time they see your home is going to be online. So not only do I do professional photography for every home, we also do 3D walkthrough tours. So that way, if you haven't seen it before, you're able to click onto a website and you can visually walk through the property, circle around in every single room, look up, look down, look sideways. That way buyers can get a really good understanding of the layout of the house as well as the general condition before they even show up to see it. And we want to do those 3D property tours. We want to do video tours. So by doing not only photos, but 3D walkthroughs as well as videos, that just allows your home to be broadcast on as many different channels on the internet as possible, giving your house the most amount of exposure. So if you're doing video, that's going to show up really well when we start running YouTube ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, because more and more people are interacting with video instead of photos. So if you're able to have video of the home, you're just going to be able to have more engagement and ultimately more buyers checking out your property. So you want to make sure you get that full package, not just photos, especially not just photos taken from a cell phone that look blurry and dark. You need professional photos, professional 3D walkthrough, and professional video in order to really make sure that your house is being shown to as many places as possible, ultimately getting you as many buyers and offers as you can possibly get on your house. Okay, so now let's move on to step number three. So step number three is allowing your neighborhood to know that your house is about to go up for sale. So we're typically going to send out mailers to all the surrounding homes or hand deliver them and let them know in person that your house is about to go up for sale. And the reason this is important is because oftentimes the most serious buyers come from neighborhood recommendations. So if you think about it, let's say you had an older couple that lives a few doors next to you. Maybe they had a daughter that just had a baby and now they're looking for a bigger place to live. How excited would the grandparents be to have their family move closer to them, and that way they get to see their grandkid more often? Or on the opposite side, which is what we did, we wanted to move closer to the grandparents so we can have some free babysitting as well as have more family time together. And those type of buyers are usually willing to pay a premium for your house because they're not just buying the house for the condition it's in, they're buying it specifically for that location where they can't get anywhere else. So oftentimes some of the best buyers are going to come from some neighbors recommending to their family or friends that they should move into the neighborhood with them. Okay, so the photos and videos are done. Your neighborhood now knows your house is about to go up for sale. The next step is now placing that sign in your yard that says coming soon, and then we put a QR code on the bottom of that sign, allowing anybody that drives through the neighborhood to be able to quickly take their phone out, scan it, and get all the information they need about your home so they can decide if they want to look at that home once it eventually hits the market. So we typically want to do that before your house hits the market, just to build anticipation and let as many people know that your house is about to be put up for sale really soon. So that brings us to step number 5. And step number 5 is taking all of those photos and videos that we took earlier and putting them together in a marketing campaign for you. So some of the things that are included in that marketing campaign are going to be a single property website where we can direct any traffic that might be looking at your home to that website so they can see all the photos, all the videos, the description, anything they need to find out about the property all in one place. We're also using those to create social media campaigns on Google, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on Facebook. So this is going to set you up to be able to reach as many buyers as possible. And a lot of those social media companies will allow you to target specific buyers that you think are going to be most interested in your house. So now let's go ahead and move on to step number 6. So step number 6 is coordinating before your home hits the market when buyers are going to be allowed to see your home, what hours, what days. That way you understand when buyers might be coming through your home and there's no surprises. The last thing you want is for you to be sitting down with your family at dinner at 6 o'clock and then all of a sudden your doorbell rings and there's buyers wanting to walk through, look at your property. That's stressful for the seller, that's stressful for the buyers because they know they probably shouldn't be there. It's just overall a bad experience for everybody involved. So what I typically do is we work all these details out ahead of time before your home hits the market. So I'll usually recommend that on the first 2 weekends, you're going to have open houses both days for multiple hours to allow as many buyers through as possible. And then for those first 2 weeks, the more flexible you could be with your schedule to allow more buyers through, ultimately you're going to get better offers and more offers on your property. Those first 2 weeks is when probably 70 to 80% of all the buyers that are going to look at your home are probably going to walk through. So if you're able to be as flexible as possible during those first 2 weeks, that's going to give you a much better chance of getting more buyers in your house and getting better offers than if you're only able to show it on the weekends or maybe a few hours during the week. But again, everybody's schedule is different. Sometimes it's just not possible to be able to show your house. You've got company over, you have things going on, and that's completely understandable. However, we want to make sure that we address that before your house gets on the market so it's not an issue once your house does go on the market. And then we go over the procedure for a buyer actually looking at your property. So typically what's going to happen is the buying agent will contact me and then I will contact you, letting you know when they want to walk through the property. If you confirm it, we'll go ahead and confirm it with the buyer's agent, and then we'll add it to a calendar that you have access to, and that way you can quickly reference it and understand who's coming when, so you know when you have to be out of the house, when the house needs to be clean. And that way, again, it's just less of a hassle for you as a seller. It's less stressful for you because you know what to expect every single day when buyers are walking through your property. So step number 7, which we've kind of gone over this a little bit already, is we're launching that single property website for your house to enable any buyer interested in your home to be able to find all the information they need in one single spot. If they want to reach out to me, my contact information is there. If they want to figure out if they can qualify for the loan, they have a lender contact information there as well. So it's all there for the buyer to look at. That way they have a much better idea of your overall home's condition, where it's located, and any information they need to know before they come to the property. And that way you're going to have a much higher chance that any buyers that are walking through your property are buyers that are going to be actually interested in purchasing it because they've seen all this information online and they're obviously still walking through your property. So odds are they have a very high intent of placing an offer on the property, and ultimately that's what you want as a seller. So now let's move on to step number 8. So step number 8 is actually submitting your home to the multiple listing service. And what that does is it allows your home to be seen by any potential buyers out there. So not only are other realtors going to be able to access the information on the MLS, but all the buyers are going to have access to it as well. Because as soon as you hit that submit button on the MLS is going to syndicate that information out to hundreds of other websites. So Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, Trulia, all those websites are now going to have your home on the front page for all the buyers to see, and that's all done automatically. It's nothing that the agent has to do. It's something as soon as it's submitted to the MLS, it's all done, and typically it's going to show up on all those websites within the first hour or two. So it's a pretty quick process, and it's only getting quicker from when you hit that submit button to when all the buyers are able to see it and emails start going out letting them know there's a new property available for them to look at. And again, this is why those first 2 weeks of you putting your home on the market is most important, because that's when the most amount of buyers are going to see it. After the first 2 weeks, it's really not going to show up on their newsfeed anymore unless you do a price reduction or a price increase, or unless ideally you go into escrow and then it lets them know as well. Okay, so now we're finally getting to the home stretch. So step number 9, as soon as we hit that submit button on the MLS, we're simultaneously also launching all those social media campaigns to make sure it's blasted to as many buyers as possible. So not only is the MLS syndicating it to hundreds of websites, we're also putting all that information throughout social media, throughout Google, so everyone can see that that property is available, getting you as many buyers through your home as possible. So now on to the last step, which is step number 10. And step number 10 is to have those open houses. So open houses allow as many buyers as possible through the property all at once, giving you more opportunities to get offers on your home. And there might be some people out there that say, oh, I don't need open houses. Open houses are just for agents to try to get more business. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. Yes, that is part of why agents do open houses. We need to get more business in order to feed our families. However, I would argue that the bigger reason you want to have open houses, especially in today's market, is there are a lot of agents dealing with multiple buyers all at once, which means they can only show a certain amount of homes per day, and not every buyer is going to be able to see every single home they want to. So by having open houses, you're allowing more buyers that maybe can't arrange for a private showing with their agent into your home to be able to check out the home, and they're able to now place an offer on the home because they've seen it, they walked through it, and they fell in love with it. Without those open houses, those type of buyers are just not going to come through, which again is going to give you less buyers, less opportunities for offers, and ultimately a lower price for your home. So I typically am going to recommend that you at least have, for the first 2 weekends, open houses on both days, multiple hours, to allow as many people through as possible. After that, it's going to be depending on what you want. However, those first 2 weeks are extremely important. So hopefully by now you can see there is a lot of work that goes in before you place your home on the market to make sure that you're getting as many qualified buyers through your home as possible, because that's our job as agents. We want to get as many eyeballs on your property in order to be able to get you as many offers as possible and ultimately the best price for your home. And again, like I said at the beginning, this is just a very basic outline. Every plan is going to be customized based on the seller's wants and needs in order to try to maximize the price you're going to ultimately get for the sale of your home. If you're finding this content useful and you like to get more information like this every single week, please consider hitting that subscribe, that like, as well as that bell button below if you're watching this on YouTube. That way you're notified every single week when I release a new episode. And if you have any family or friends that might find this content valuable, make sure you share it with them as well. I'd really appreciate it. Until next week, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye.